Hello, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box just below this video. Welcome to day 7. We are past the halfway point of the 12 cast-ons of Christmas series, and yeah, I'm looking forward to today's cast on. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get done. It's quite a nice, bright and pleasant day out there. But we've got quite a lot of stuff to get done at home today. James's parents have now left, so we're back at home on our own. So we've got the post-Christmas tidy up to do, and also I want to start working on getting this craziness that is my craft room tidied up. It's a complete embarrassment at the moment. So I need to do something about that while we have some daylight and some time. So yes, I'm going to crack on with that, I think, and then I shall get to today's cast on. And I shall be casting on another pair of socks today. In this little project bag here, I have this gorgeous kit, which was a gift from my lovely friend Jeanette. So yes, another friendship cast on. And in here, you can see down the bottom there, it's Artistic Yarn by Abby. Is some gorgeous yarn, also a pattern and a set of needles, so everything you could want for making this kit. So here is the yarn, I'll show it to you. There's a green, a black or a sort of charcoal grey, and then this multi-coloured skein, and there's also a little mini of white. I couldn't quite hold all of those up together. And apparently if you knit these at the right gauge, you should get some self-patterning sheep socks, which I'm completely intrigued by. So yeah, if you knit this according to the pattern and, as I say, to the right gauge, these little sheep should start to appear. Apparently the yarn is dyed in such a way as to make these, so we shall see. Completely fascinated to see how this is going to turn out. So yeah, I'm imagining I might need to play around with my tension a little bit. The pattern suggests not to be sort of too fussy about your gauge, but just to work the yarn, like tighten it or loosen it up a little bit to get the sheep sort of coming in the right way. So I think it's going to take a little bit of concentration to get going once I get past the cuff. I think these are top down. Yeah. And then once I get past that and get into the sort of setting up of the sheep, I may need to be doing a little bit of tweaking. So as I say, I'm completely fascinated to see how this is going to turn out. There's a set of DPNs provided in with the kit, but I am much more of a magic looper. I don't mind DPNs, but they're not my favourite. So I may go with another pair of needles and do my favourite magic loop. Also, these are 2.5 and I tend to be a little bit of a looser knitter. So I might go with my 2.25 standard. I think probably what I'll do is I'll check to see what gauge is recommended in the sock pattern and actually measure that up against the pair of socks I've knit recently on 2.25s and then sort of judge what I think I need to do. But yes, I am expecting there might be a little bit of finagling to get the pattern to come out. But yeah, I'm just completely intrigued to see how this is going to go. So as always, I shall take you along with me. Hey, welcome back. It's time for me to confess how I got on with my sheep socks yesterday. It's a bit of a late start for me today. I have got a bit of a fuzzy head. It's really frustrating because it's a beautiful day out and I ended up staying in bed till nearly 2 o'clock this afternoon because every time I moved my head was just swimming, and I'm still not feeling the best, so you'll have to excuse me if I haven't brushed my hair and I might stumble over my words a bit, but I really want to try and keep the video momentum going and see what I can do, but it could be that whatever I work on today gets a bit of a short shrift, I'm afraid, because my concentration level isn't really there. Anyway, before I show you my sheep socks, I do have a small list of shout outs to give. I'm going to put my glasses on for this, although these big glasses look crazy with my out of the way hair, so again, apologies, but I need to read. I love these glasses so much. Guaranteed to make me smile no matter what I feel like. I've noticed since I've got up this afternoon that I've had a few more comments, and I haven't had the wherewithal to read through them and add them to my little list of shout outs today, so I will catch up with everyone, and I have started to reply to people's comments as well on the 12 cast on YouTube's videos, so thank you so much for everyone who has been leaving comments. Anyway, let's get to it. So the lovely Mountain Pearl has left a couple of comments, and she says that she spent a lot of time snowshoeing. She shimmied up this big mountain or hill near hers in amazing snowy conditions. If you want to see some beautiful pictures of that, you can go over to her Instagram account. She's Mountain Pearl over on Instagram too. But alongside that, she's been finishing up a Guernsey wrap that she's been working on, and also getting through some sock whips, which is always good. So yes, well done Mountain Pearl, and yeah, that beautiful landscape that you live in, gorgeous. Jane commented to say that all of the lovely baby hats that she's been making are going to one of her local maternity units. So yeah, that's really lovely. I need to do a little bit more knitting for charity and knitting for others in 2020, I think. And then my lovely friend Fee, who is Flourish Fibres, hi Fee, she has finished quite a few of her cast on projects, which is amazing. Well done Fee, you're going great guns. So she's finished a Twixtmas hat, some mitts and an Everyday Brew hat, and she's also casting on a shawl from her oldest yarn, and she's got some other projects planned as well. She also commented that she started a shawl and then it came straight out again. So you're in good company with Caroline, my lovely friend Caroline, who is Colourful Creativity here on YouTube and all over the internet. She is doing a series of videos on her 12 cast-ons as well. I don't know how she's doing it because she did Vlogmas as well. So she's on like day 28 or 9 of recording on the trot. So whew, that girl's got some staying power. But she cast on a couple of, I think her Christmas Eve socks, cast on and frogged again, and she frogged something else. So she's got Frogmas going on, which I love that. Perhaps we'll do Frogmas next year. And then my lovely friend Jeanette, who was the gift giver of this lovely kit that I'm talking about today, she has cast on a cowl that she is self-designing, which is amazing. Well done Jeanette. And also a pair of Check Your Boobs socks, and that is a lovely pattern also designed by Charlie Buttons, who designed the Normal People sweater. And the pattern was originally released to raise money for a breast cancer charity. I'm not sure if the proceeds will be forever going to that charity, but I'm sure you can find all the details over on Ravelry. If I'd have had a bit more about me today, I would have checked that before I came on. The lovely Martin, who is Welsh Tenor on Instagram, he is on his 3rd cast on, and he loves his latest project so much he doesn't want to move on to the next one. I think he's got 1 more, maybe 2 more to go on his list, and I completely get that. Martin, I understand as well, because there's some days where I just want to keep working on the projects that I've cast on. And I noticed on Instagram that he's cast on a hat, I think, from Caroline's lovely No Rainbows colourway, and Martin has a blog, so if you find him on Instagram you will be able to go over and read his blog posts too. The lovely Anita, who is Gaga Knits and Anita Bulb over on Instagram, has said that she's not a fan of working on multiple projects, which I completely understand, but she is going to plan to cast on 12 projects through 2020. So I love the idea of that. That's one a month. I think that's doable. So perhaps if you have been wanting to join in on the cast on frenzy, but have too many whips to manage, then maybe that's a fun goal that you could set yourself. 12 cast ons in 2020. I love that idea. Thank you for that one, Anita. Other lovely Jeanette has finished square 2 of her Sherwood blanket and is about to cast on the 3rd, and is busy updating the pictures that she's leaving over on the Ravelry group. So yeah, you can go check out the Ravelry group. You've still got time to join in the cows that we've got going. There's still a couple of days left for the whip along. So if you're working on your whips rather than casting on, then you could hop on over to the Ravelry group and post a picture in the finished object threads of anything you finish before the 31st of, well, up until midnight on the 31st of December. Any of your whips that you finish counts for that cow. And I think it's the 13th of January that the cast on cow goes on to, but again the details are over in the Ravelry group. So whatever you're doing at the moment, whether you're trying to clear off your needles or, like me, adding as many things to your needles as possible, there's a cow for you over in the Ravelry group. And any craft counts. It doesn't have to be knitting. You can crochet, you can spin, you can weave. Any of the fibre crafts is good with me. Lovely Jen, who is Archeo Girl, is working on a test knit at the moment, but is planning on casting on a sweater for herself on New Year's Eve. So that's really exciting. We're fast approaching that now. So not long till you get to cast on for yourself. Lisa, who is Fictional Lisa over on Instagram. She is one of my lovely in real life friends. She comes to the shop with her lovely son on a regular basis. She has just started drop spindling, which is super exciting. I started a new drop spindling project this week as well, which I haven't actually talked about. Maybe I'll try and sort that out for tomorrow. So well done, Lisa. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get the spinning bug. Okay, so that is everything for what everyone else has been working on. As I say, I'm going to catch up hopefully with that tomorrow if I feel a bit better. Time to show you progress on my sheep socks. There's not a ton because yesterday afternoon I took advantage of the first afternoon that we had on our own, and I started doing some tidying up and some bits and pieces up here in the craft room. I managed to spend more time on that than I'd anticipated, so I didn't actually get going on my cast on until about 8 o'clock yesterday evening, but I've made a fair bit of progress, and I am starting the first sheep repeat, which is going quite well, apart from one sheep, which I'll show you in a minute. So here is my progress so far. Isn't that fun? So the pattern starts with a picot cast on, which I've never done before, and I was a bit worried about, well, not in this style. I've done the picot style for the dams and gin socks, where you basically knit a bunch, do a yarn over roll and then fold it over, but this is an actual picot cast on. So I thought that would be a fun thing to try. I was a bit worried that it might not be that stretchy, but it's plenty stretchy with that rib. And then I'm on to the sheep patterning. And basically I'm following a chart. I'm trying to get my stitches. The yarn is a self-patterning dyed yarn, and I'm trying to get my stitches to match up with the chart. There's a couple of odd things about the chart though, because the chart is, I'll show you, quickly flash it that way. I don't think I'm really giving away anything because you'd have to have this yarn to be following this chart accurately. But the chart is printed that way up. So on a traditional chart, you start at the bottom and work your way up. But for this one, she says start at the sheep's head and work down to the feet. So really the chart needs to be that way up. But anyway, that's by the by. She gives a few hints and tips on where to start, and my sheeps are going pretty well, apart from, I just noticed before I put it down last night, one of my sheep has gone a bit awry. He's the last one that I did, and his face is kind of melting off to the side there. If you see, that one has got a nice sort of symmetrical nose part, and this one's nose is, yeah, a bit wonky. So obviously I was getting a bit tired by that point, so I need to just rip that right back and finagle my stitches a bit. It's kind of an interesting knit because it's like doing colour work without all of the different colours, and you do have to kind of knit a bit more tightly and a bit more loosely in places to get the pattern to match up. So I'm wondering how well that's going to sort of block out. I think you can kind of see the difference in the tension in places, and it's been a bit tricky to make the stitches line up perfectly. So if I show you this sheep here, his eyes kind of got a bit of a shadow on, but I think overall, once the socks are done, he's next to the melty face sheep. So these two on the back perhaps have been on the Christmas spirit, a bit of mulled wine, whereas these two on the front are looking pretty good. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun knit. If you look at the picture of the socks, that's kind of that way, there's the picot, it looks like the sheep are offset slightly. There's no real instructions in the pattern for that, so I might have to do a bit of finagling, and I had to do a bit of finagling at the beginning of the sort of chart where the sheep came in, because I'd already knit a few rounds, and then I needed to pull through this excess bit to get the sheep to start in the right place. So I will need to sort of probably trim that down and weave that in at some point. But apart from that and a bit of finagling, some of the rows I needed to tink back a few stitches to get the sort of colour placements right. But yeah, I'm completely amazed with how those are turning out. I do need to swap this project into a bigger bag, I think. So this was the project bag that came with the kit, which is a lovely little bag, but it is quite small for the amount of yarn. So once I've got all of my 4 yarn balls in there, I haven't even got the pattern in there yet, there's no real room, and I like to have my projects out and about on the go, and if I'm on the go I like to be able to keep all of my yarn in the bag while I'm working, and there's not really much room to manoeuvre, so I think I shall swap this out for a slightly bigger project bag. I did decide to go for magic loop, and I did decide to go with the 2.5mm needles recommended in the pattern, and I'm glad I did, because I think my stitches would have been too tight on the 2.25. The pattern does also say that the best sheep picture is usually achieved at 60 to 64 stitches, but the chart is for a 60 stitch, and it doesn't really give any indication as to how to manage if you add the extra stitches in. So as I usually work on a 64 stitch with a 2.25, I thought the 60 stitch on a 2.5 would probably give me a bit of wiggle room, and hopefully these will fit when they're done. I'm not going to make the legs too long. I think I'll probably do 3 repeats of the sheep. I think the pattern recommends 3 to 5 before you move on to the foot, so I'll probably do 3 rows of sheep before I put in the heel. So yeah, that was my progress on my sheep socks. We'll see what I managed to get done today. My head is definitely starting to feel a little bit clearer, but I don't want to push it too much. So I'll see what I have time for. But it could be, if I really don't make any progress or don't feel the urge to cast on, if I just need to lie down some more, then I may skip a day of videos and then add an extra on at the end. So we shall see, we shall see. Anyway, I hope you are all still casting on and that your enthusiasm isn't waning yet. Keep on casting on, and hopefully I shall see you again in the next video. And until then, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.